Hey, YouTubers, my buddy Cousin Sal is coming up here on the BS podcast. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs, the PGA Championship, the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and most importantly, final episode of Game of Thrones. Here we go! All right, the Cousin's on the line. You can hear him every day on FS1. Lock it in, 4:30 p.m. You can also see him on Jimmy Kimmel Live every once in a while. Jimmy Kimmel back for 3 more years. He won't leave. I almost did a spoiler coming out of the gate, and I did it, but I held myself. Hi, Sal. How are you?
What's happening, man? It's good to be on.
I know it's been a while.
Is football around the corner? Are we talking? Hard Knocks odds or something?
Oh, we could. So nephew Kyle came over today to watch Thrones and get ready for this podcast, and we had the 4 TVs going in the back. We're watching basketball. Guess what was on the NFL Network? Seattle Patriots Super Bowl. Don't think we didn't get excited. Don't think there wasn't some cheering and some grunting. It was great. I'm ready for football to come back.
Oh, of course. I counted. I think there's 15 Sundays, which I would have thought there were more. So I'm glad we're getting
15 there. Sundays. All right.
Yeah.
Let's start with basketball and the fact that yesterday, or I guess it was over 24 hours ago, I texted you that I wanted to bet the sweeps. Warriors sweeping the Blazers, and then the Bucks sweeping the Raptors. So then the Warriors win game 3, looking great. The FUKD is in full motion, whether that's true or not. I just like joking about it. Then we go to the Bucks today, and it really seems like they're going to pull it out. And then they gave it back, and that sweep bet went under, and now that Raptors series is going. Did you think, in your heart of hearts, the NBA was ever going to allow 2 sweeps in the conference finals?
Nah, I thought you had it after yesterday.
Yeah,
I really thought, but now looking at it, like, all right, Golden State won, so now they'll be done. They'll finish that off. But I was thinking, this Milwaukee team is so much better, and man, now I'm thinking, wait, let's think back at this. Maybe they should be down 2-1, right?
Yeah,
they shot 25% from 3 in the first game, and then this game was abysmal. Middleton, Bledsoe, 6 for 32, and Greek Freak had his numbers in there. They're like 11 for 48 between the 3 of them. Maybe this is going to be a good one. Do you think this goes 6 now?
So Bledsoe and Middleton were really bad. Like really, really blew the game bad. And I think the Middleton thing was more of an aberration because he's done it in some big games before. I think they have a real problem with Bledsoe. And I came away from the game today thinking, I don't think they can win a finals game on the road relying on Bledsoe because I just don't think he's reliable. I've been saying this. We argue about it in the Ringer NBA Slack, and I've been saying I think Bledsoe has been fool's gold for a lot of this season. Like he's one of those looks great when you're up 18 at home, but in a game like that, did you notice how hard it was for them to find the creator who could actually decide what was going to happen when they really needed a basket in those last couple of minutes? Like it kind of needed to be Giannis.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't totally have the reps yet. I felt the most comfortable with Brogdon and George Hill, which I'm not sure that's a good sign for them for the next round. What'd you think?
No, it didn't look good. But I will say there was a weird sense of resiliency. Like, when you're watching with a woman like my wife or a person like my wife who doesn't watch basketball, and I just hate this one. The team goes up 4 points with 40 seconds left, and she's like, all right, turn this off. Turn Game of Thrones back on. It's over. I was like, It's not over. And twice they were up 4 with 40 seconds left, Toronto was.
Yeah.
And they blew the lead. Siakam missed the free throws. And Milwaukee was minus 145 going into both overtimes.
Wow.
Like, I'm going to end up losing a lot of money here. But
I should have bet that. That would have been a good way for me to hedge the bets. I was saying to Kyle that when Siakam went to the line, I actually predicted, Kyle can vouch, I predicted the double free throw miss by Siakam.
Yeah, really?
That was impressive.
I really did.
Kyle, is that true? You could be honest here.
I was sitting right there.
Yeah. I was spelling out everything. I was going nuts because I just couldn't believe they wouldn't bench Bledsoe. And then they benched him, and then they brought him back, and he did more damage, and they benched him again. But, I think both teams have the same problem. They really only have one guy that can create a good shot. And then you watch the Warriors who are creating unbelievable offense with 3 different guys, and Durant's not even playing. And tonight was the first night. This might be an overreaction, I'll fully admit it. tonight was the first night I really thought to myself that the Warriors could actually beat either of these teams without Durant. Because I didn't think that till today. I really thought we could talk about the Warriors in a second, but everybody's going, oh, they don't need him. They absolutely needed Durant against Milwaukee, I thought. Then I watched the thing today, and it's like, if they steal one game in Milwaukee, I just don't think Milwaukee can go into Golden State and win there. What was your take?
Yeah, I kind of feel that. I've flip-flopped. And now Milwaukee has home court, right? If these two survive. So I don't know. I still don't think that anybody has. I just think Giannis just fouls everybody out. No one could cover him for 94 feet and all this stuff we talk about. And, Milwaukee, when they win hard. Like, I think there's only 4 teams have won by double digits 50 plus times this year. And Milwaukee's one of them. And every team won the title except for Golden State, who was up 3-1 and blew it to Cleveland. I think we're familiar with that one. But now I'm starting to think it sounds stupid, but Golden State's a team of destiny. Like, is that even possible at this point? This will be their 5th trip to the finals in a row.
You want to do Golden State now? I was saving it for once we got. Let's save Golden State because I have a lot of thoughts on that.
Let me just tell you real quick. You would, and I'm glad I didn't. Not that you would have done this, but I bet that no games this series would go to double overtime in either series, parlayed together.
Oh,
yes, I did.
No, you didn't. How is that even a bet?
And the Gold.
So how are there even odds on that?
I know. It's disgusting. And they weren't very good. I'm going to be honest with you. They weren't really in my favor, those odds.
Jesus.
So, I ruined an otherwise great weekend. I had Koepka. I had the Knicks. I had all these bets that House and I tried to convince you to jump on. We had the Knicks in the top 4.
Yeah.
We had a whole bunch of these, and I lost it all to the stupid double overtime bet. I'm the worst.
So Bledsoe, first game of the Boston series, goes 1 for 5 for 6 points. Plays better in the second game. Mm-hmm. Third game in Boston, series tied 1-1. They need him in this one. He goes 4 for 15, 4 turnovers. Game 4, he's okay, 13. Game 5, when Boston's rolling over, that's when Bledsoe really shines. So he 18 in that one. In this series, he's made 9 shots, but he's taken 40. He scored 28 points total. 5 turnovers today. I don't know what they do because I'm not sure their best lineup has him out there. He's still really destructive defensively, and I think that's why they're playing him and they're hoping that his offense can go. But I thought their best lineup has to have Hill and Brogdon out there at the same time with Middleton, with Giannis, and then either Lopez, Mirotic, whoever. But the problem is when you play the Warriors next round, assuming they get there, and the Warriors have so much speed and can do so many different things, I'm not sure how much they're going to be able to play the Mirotic, Ilyasova, those kind of guys.
But he's not getting a ton more minutes than you would think, right? Bledsoe, didn't he have 33 today? Which, they have 2 bench players getting more than that.
He did,
Hill
but
and Brogdon.
During the season, this is why he got the $70 million extension because he was playing so well. It really seemed like he was unleashed in this Budenholzer offense, playing with more pace. When they signed him that extension, I thought it was a good deal. I thought he had kind of come into his own. And I just think, this is something Russillo and I talked about last year. And it's a good thing for us to remember when we're betting on stuff next year. There's such a dramatic difference now between the regular season and the playoffs. It just seems to be a chasm that's growing each year. And you almost have to go into these playoffs trying to unlearn just about everything you learned from the regular season. I think one of the things that has held up is this Bucks team is just really good. And even when they don't play well, they can still hang around in these games. I didn't think they played well in game 1. They put together 1 quarter, they won. Then today, nobody played well in the Bucks. Who played well? And they get double overtime in Toronto. So, I think you can look at stuff like if a team is up 15-20 a lot during a season, I think that means something. But man, when it slows down like it did today, how about Toronto with running pick and rolls with Van Vliet?
Yeah, right. I know.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Kawhi just got a little too cool for school, right? He didn't have those carnival rims that he dealt with last Sunday, like rims. Mother's Day. So don't do us any favors. You're taking the game clock down to 4 before you're making a move. It's going to be a terrible shot, and maybe a terrible shot that doesn't go in, unlike last Sunday. But
so what do you think happens? So we got Game 4 in Toronto. We just put double OT miles on Milwaukee. We should mention I thought there were some really shaky calls in this game. Most of them went against Milwaukee. The weirdest one, they didn't even replay it. I think it was either at the end of in the last minute of regulation or the last minute of OT. Giannis got his 5th foul. Kawhi had just made a shot, and then he came down and he missed another shot. And they called Giannis for like a foul off the ball and like the fight for the rebound. And I was rewinding it, trying to find like what the foul was. It was Scott Foster just immediately was like, I'm calling this. It was super fishy. And so that happened. That was the 5th foul. And then the 6th foul was Siakam just put his head down and just rammed into him. And they fouled him out on that. Yeah. Which brings me to my point. It reminds me of Shaq way back when, where you could kind of call a lot of fouls or call no fouls when Giannis is in the game on both ends. You know, when he goes to the basket, it seems like he's fouled almost every time and they call it, you know, whenever they want. And then defensively, he's challenging everything. He's all over the place. He's usually doing the right things and they can decide on that. All right, well, he went over the back on that one. Next time, no, he didn't go over the back that time. And there are very few guys in the league that can be kind of interpreted. And that's what I noticed today, especially with those last 2 fouls. I just felt like they were bad calls, but that's what happens with the
Yeah, probably. I watched a little Money in the Bank, and there was, the referee was more consistent in that, I think, even in the ladies' matches. But what do you think for a line? I mean, I would throw a couple of trends at you. So Toronto was favored by 2.5 heading into this. And by the way, it seems like game 3, the home team, no matter how bad it is for them, they cover the first quarter. So that happened the last 2 nights. But Toronto's 2.5 heading into tonight. What do you think? I know the answer if you want to guess the lines.
So Toronto was 2.5 for game 3?
They were for tonight. They were -2.5, yeah.
I think Milwaukee -1 for game 4.
Higher, -2.5.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
It should be a close game.
So then it looks like series lines. The Bucks are still -625 for the series.
Yeah.
That seems high.
Me, you, and House and I jumped in early. We have -185 for Milwaukee, Golden State. And you got it like 160 something. Right?
I had it at 154. For some reason, people really started talking themselves into Portland, which was super confusing to me.
Yeah, I think there was also more buzz that Durant definitely wasn't playing the first 3 games.
I was fine with that. All that did was help the line. You know, this is a good time to talk about the Warriors. They're talking about, especially now they've won 4 in a row without him. People are like, they don't need him. It's better. They're better off without him, all that stuff, which is just idiotic. Like, just stop. They can do this in short spurts, but Curry and Clay and Draymond can't handle the kind of load they're doing in these games over the course of a 7-month season. Come on. It's not realistic. It would be the same thing like how Harden wore down in the playoffs and couldn't do what he did in the
I don't think so either. The only thing that could benefit them is if they finish off Portland in 4 and this series, this Milwaukee-Toronto game series goes 7 or something, you know? Because if there was going to be 2 sweeps, I think there was going to be 9 days without basketball or something crazy before the finals.
Yeah, I was asking a friend of mine at ESPN about that, if they moved the finals up. And they said no. We could have had 8-9 days between the conference finals and the finals, which was yet another case for bet Toronto. They're going to figure out a way to get them to win. But with the Golden State thing, this is what makes basketball great. This isn't unique to just KD's not there and the Warriors, look how great they are. Like, this is one of the things I love about basketball. When somebody disappears and everybody else bands together and tries to carry the team for a few games, which is what they've done. I do think there's a little fuck you edge with the KD thing, but I think it's more of a people counted them out because he got hurt. And those guys are all like, this is what you, me, and House were texting before Game 6 of the Rocket series. Those guys are like, really? We're all the guys who won the 2015 title, basically. Like, what are you doing? You're counting us out because Durant's out? Give me a break. And it definitely seems like it's motivated Draymond specifically Because
I like it. I know what you're saying. It's fun to watch. They're more fun to watch, I think, without Durant, which doesn't make sense. I'm going to have you explain it to me in a second if you can. The ratings are up, way up for the Golden State games this year. However many playoff games, but down like 15% for every other game. Everything else put together. So this is what the viewer wants to see. But how is this happening? Like, I don't understand. This guy there is an FU to this, like, because he wasn't making the same open shots when one of the greatest players in the world was 15 feet from him doing nothing,
right? And
now he's draining everything, or it's not at 26% from three, that's for sure. Why is it other than an FU to Durant?
Well, there's definitely a little motivation, there's no question, but I think this was a team that was you had guys overqualified for the roles they were in. Klay Thompson was basically turned into somebody who just stood in the corner or ran around screens and shot. Like, he never really handled the ball at all. You watch him these last few games, and he's pretty creative offensive player. He's showing things that he just wasn't really allowed to do because they had three other guys who can handle the ball. Curry definitely has more of a swagger, and he's not worried about, I took the last 5 shots. KD should get this play. So that's been removed. But the big thing for me is Draymond, because for 2 reasons. One, I think he's really motivated because, look, if you want to go behind the curtain, like, they've been hearing about this Knicks stuff all year, and it's only heated up since the All-Star break, and it's only heated up the last couple weeks. And, I think they think he's leaving, and that has to be a small part of this, of like, all right, fuck you. Like, go ahead. We're fine. We won the title without you. I really do believe there's a little piece of that. But more importantly, I think without Durant, Draymond just is involved more and knows that he has to be more of the playmaker, facilitator. He's pushing the ball. And he said something really important after the game yesterday, where he said how he in the NBA TV interview, he talked about he was too focused on the refs and the calls and bitching about everything. And he's like, I just had to stop doing that. I had to just concentrate on what I was doing, and it really helped me, which you watched him all year. He bitched at the refs too much. I think it was a problem.
I felt like he turned it on even when Durant was like, even what was it, like game 4 in Houston? They lost the game. It was close, but he was taking it to the rim hard.
Yeah.
And the stats might not even, although he had the triple-double easily yesterday, but he's definitely playing with a different intensity. So everyone thinks the FU is coming from Curry, but it's just as much from Draymond here.
Yeah, and Curry was this good all year. He just has the ball a little bit more, but there was a point there in the regular season when his stats were pretty much where they were during his great MVP season. The big difference is Draymond, who I got to be honest, I never thought he would get to this level again. He just seemed like somebody that, when you compare him to the 25-game winning streak 3 years ago and just how dominant he was some nights, and we just didn't see it anymore. And it seemed like he was at a different point of his career. Maybe the conditioning wasn't there the same way. Maybe his legs weren't totally the same or whatever. He looks like this is the best he's looked really since that 25-game winning streak. And, he can be a dominant player. That's the craziest thing about Draymond. Like, Westbrook will have the 20-10-12, and you won't feel like he controlled the game. When Draymond has it, it really feels like he's controlling the game. And, but on both ends too, because he was incredible defensively. The other thing that happened in that game 3, Lillard was hurt, no question. But the bench guys, like Quinn Cook was making
I was just going to say,
plays.
They never have the bench step up like this.
McKinney?
They have to, obviously, to replace Durant's points, but yeah.
McKinney? Kevon Looney has probably made himself an 8-figure a year contract. No lie. I think
think so?
Yeah,
Wow.
I think he's going to get like $10 million a year in the offseason.
You said that about Romo too.
And I was right. Was I right or was I wrong?
You're right. Romo, Looney, all the greats.
Romo and Looney together are going to make $25 billion combined. I've been really impressed by, Looney's really smart. He does smart stuff. He knows what he is. He's always in the right spots. He doesn't try to do too much. I think he's been an unsung MVP. Sometimes this will happen in the playoffs where, remember most famously Jerome James in 2005 got hot for Seattle for like a week and a half. Isaiah gave him a $30 million contract. That'll usually
we
happen.
looked at this, though. We looked at it and said, all the numbers said the trend showed, all right, hey, they still win 75% of their games without Durant. And they allow 10 points fewer per game. All right, maybe that's because they slowed down possessions. And then I was looking at it, I was like, oh, man, I've done a little research on this. This is when their bench was a lot deeper. Maybe not even deeper, but they didn't have a 35-year-old Iguodala and a 33-year-old Livingston. This really could be it for it. But I think it's everything. I really do. I think a lot. Curry gets a lot of the credit. Draymond should get more of the credit. His numbers are phenomenal. And this bench stepping up like that, they had no bench. They had none of the Western Conference teams really had anything going bench-wise,
You know what I really love? This show that you're on, Lock It In, which, no. I'm not saying I love the show. Although I was going to text you. I've listened to it a few times now when I'm driving around.
Oh, no.
When it's on Fox, when I'm waiting for Christine Leahy's shows to come on. And, the chemistry with you guys is really good now. Like there's a lot of ball busting on that show. Everybody's kind of caught up to your ball busting. It's impressive.
They have to stick with me.
It's really like there's just darts being thrown left and right constantly. It's really funny. I enjoy it. You guys do a good job on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think it helps that we're playing against each other. We're playing a game, and this is like week 34, and we all still want to win as much as we did in the first week. And we make fun of each other like if we're getting bad, good. It's like you and I playing in fantasy,
right?
If I won by 3 points on a pick six, in a meaningless pass at the end, you would be screaming at me. We'd be screaming on the Monday podcast for 20 minutes about it. But it's kind of this, that's what it is. I think that's what keeps us going.
Well, the show's good, but the reason I bring this up is you used to make fun of me for being the NBA hole. Mm-hmm. And you cared, but you weren't like, there was a level that you weren't going to because you were following 17 other sports. I feel like you're watching a lot of basketball. I almost feel like I want to welcome you into the NBA hole club. I feel like you've watched a lot of this.
I think you have to welcome me. I boycotted the last 3 weeks because I was convinced these guys aren't playing. They don't care what's going on. You still will not convince me otherwise. And then I dove in head first once the playoffs started. And I think they try most of the time, these teams. But what the hell else are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
What are we going to talk about after this is over with?
This is great. We
got Women's World Cup. We're in trouble.
I can't wait. Lock it in after hoops ends when you guys are breaking down the round of 16 in the Women's World Cup, and you're making the case for Nigeria over Canada is going to be hilarious. Well,
I have Cameroon parlayed with Joey Chestnut over 72.5 hot dogs. Holy crap!
Hold on, we're gonna take a quick break. I want to talk about Durant. So the Durant thing. Here's my take. I'm saying,
now, what's he doing? Was that real? Was that a real post about Phoenix? That was him?
Oh, I didn't see that. What are you talking about?
Oh, I thought he said it must not be real. I thought it was on Instagram. And what's his Instagram handle?
Easy Money Sniper.
Yeah, that's it. He's like, you guys are gonna be laughing when I take the Suns to the title. I'm gonna have to look that up. Maybe I was duped.
You might have been duped.
All right.
There's been a lot of social media duping.
Yeah.
I will say though, I'm taping this now. It's 9 o'clock PT Sunday night. Durant does read all this stuff. He's online. It's one of those things where all these guys I think are online. All these guys are reading stuff because I think they have a lot of spare time, and it's not like they can go out and do stuff because they're 6'3" to 7 feet tall and famous. But
yeah,
I do think he reads this stuff, and I think he's extremely very aware of the narrative now that is on the talk shows and is online about this is more fun without him. The Warriors don't need Kevin Durant. It's nice to have the Warriors back. Durant ruined the Warriors, and now the Warriors can be fun again. He's seeing all of this stuff, and
yeah,
I don't know how it affects this summer because I think that decision was already made. But what I do think, I just think there's no chance he comes back now. I think there was a puncher's slim fingernail of a chance that if they won 3 in a row and it went perfectly and he was the best player in the league like he looked in the first 2 rounds before he got hurt, that they all would have looked at each other and gone, this is stupid. Let's go for history. Only Russell Celtics have ever won 4 in a row. Let's go for it. We'll figure it out a year from now.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was inconceivable. I don't see him coming back now because, first of all, he saw all that stuff. He's seen how the teams reacted without him. Whether you'd be like, well, no, we're all together in this. Like, there's got to be that small part of you like, man, they seem pretty happy. And I'm not out there. So that's one part. And then the second part, if I'm the Warriors, the owners and the front office and all this stuff, kind of looking forward to next year, like reinventing this team after 3 straight titles, using the KD money, building around Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond, and just being like, let's try to win the title without him. Like that's the best motivation a team could have after a title is, well, they don't think you can win without Durant. Here we go. Like you're just basically putting the giant chip on everybody's shoulder. How rare is that as a title team to have that?
Right.
So I think that my guess would be everybody's going to look at each other and go, you know what? This would be great. You should go to New York. And KD's going to be like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to go to New York. This was awesome. Thank you for my 3 titles. Don't you feel like that's how it plays out?
Not only that, I feel like, when they say like, well, you'll never understand the competition, a high level competition like this. You don't play basketball. You didn't play college. You didn't play pro. I was like, all right, that's fine. I know myself right now. If I were Kevin Durant, I wouldn't be rooting for this team. So take this whole thing to another level where you say, well, they're more competitive than you can ever imagine. Well, then he's not rooting for this team. I thought like a week ago, I was like, he needs both of these series to end in 7. If he's not playing the rest of the year, and that's perfect for KD. Now, I don't think he wants them to win at all. A and B, I think you're right. He's going to the Knicks. We'd like them to go to the Knicks before. I mean, you know him better than I do. You sit with him in his house, in his pantry, and interview him. But I think he's going to the Knicks. I think there's a little bit of I have a little more inside information about this. I don't even know if I could say, but he's very close with Steve Nash, who happens to be R.J. Barrett's godfather.
Yeah.
All right. So that's where the Knicks are landing. That's their pick because they couldn't fix it, so they get Zion. I think this is Nash is close with him. Anyway, I don't want to give away too much. You're right. He's going to Knicks, and let's bet that if we can even more.
I've already wagered on it.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's do more.
I was thinking about tweeting every Monday. Should I do this? Tell me if I should do this. Every Monday, tweet my predictions of where everyone is going, but just make it a thread and see if it changes each week.
Yeah.
Because right now, my bet, as crazy as this sounds.
Did you do this already?
No, I haven't.
Sent me a text.
You
texted me. Okay.
Yeah. I sent you a text, but I haven't gone on record.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think what's going to happen, if you gave me odds on this, it would be interesting. We should who does odds off our podcast? Who does that? Sportsbook will do that sometimes, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can get someone together. Yeah.
I would like to know what the odds are on KD, Anthony Davis, and either Kyrie or Kemba all ending up on the same team next year.
On the same team?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the Knicks.
No, on the Knicks.
Oh, interesting.
Because I think KD, so that there's a Kemba wrinkle.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has Kyrie going there. But Kemba's actually from New York.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's from the Bronx, but he's like from deep New York. And, he needs a guard either way, whether it's Kyrie or Kemba. Maybe it's Kyrie, but one of those. And then you basically trade everything else for Davis, right? You trade 3, you trade Knox, you trade the Dallas picks, whatever it takes. You bowl them over to make sure the Lakers or Boston don't get them. And then you just put those 3 guys together and figure it out later. I'm not the first person who said this. Obviously, a lot of people have talked about this scenario. I just really think it's going to happen. And I think that's where Davis is going to go, unless New Orleans says, we're going to wait till February to trade him. But we've seen over and over again, we've seen teams get the 3 guys first and worry about the rest after. And this would be a perfect way to do that this time around.
2 things. I don't know those odds. We could probably get them up. But Anthony Davis, everyone's very excited for a day or two about Anthony Davis and Zion playing together. He is still minus 300, according to Vegas, or Antigua, depending on where you place your bets, planning on fleeing New Orleans. So there's part one. part two, I think in a real world, in a real NBA world where all these max contract guys get angry and they want to leave or they want to quit or whatever, yeah, you could have 3 superstars ending up on the Knicks, except you have to have 3 big personalities agree to play for James Dolan.
Yeah.
I just don't see him. I don't think he's the guy. I think that's why they needed Zion more than anything, because now you have this chip that kind of supersedes everything bad that the Dolans do. And here comes Durant and maybe even Davis or Kyrie or whatever. But I still think he's a big enough force to keep the big names away.
I'm going to do the impossible right now. I'm going to defend James Dolan.
Really? Let's hear
Kyle,
it.
we're recording this, right?
This is what you should do every Monday.
As you know, I think he's one of the worst owners in recent sports history. And
okay. Not a good start.
And
so
also
far,
tried to make it seem like I was lying about the fact that he was letting all the rich people know that make him an offer, basically. And he's like, no, I never did that. It's like, okay. That's why 20 rich people right now are formulating Knicks offers, because you sent the word out. They even said on a freaking margin call with every 3 months when Cablevision, they have the stockholders thing. They even brought up about that Simmons thing is the one. They mentioned my name. It's 100% a lie. It's like, I'm not lying. People know what was actually going on. Anyway, I don't think he's a meddler, I think would be the defense for James Dolan as an owner. I think he's terrible at hiring people, like really, really historically atrocious. But once he hires them, he doesn't meddle. So if they were able to get KD, Anthony Davis, Kemba, Fizdale's already in there as a coach. They have all the people running the front office who at least don't seem incompetent at this point. They're okay. Right. Like the Porzingis trade, they did okay considering that Dolan was just bound and determined to get rid of him. It's kind of hard for him to mess it up at that point. Once you get those 3 guys in, I don't really know what he could do other than to somehow insult them in the hallway or something, right?
Right.
What would he do? Like, how could he screw that up? They're already there. They've signed contracts.
All right, I get it. I'm just thinking of, you know what? I'm going way back when they were courting LeBron and he came in the room and there was guys in wheelchairs and stuff.
Yeah, that's all
true. It was like, I'll go to Brooklyn before I come to, the Knicks. But maybe that could turn around.
Well, maybe this time he brings Durant in and maybe play some music for him. Like that's
from his band, you mean?
Yeah, that's what really speaks to to James Dolan's heart is his live music. So maybe he figures out a way to connect the live music with the courting process.
That'll be a true test. I could deal with the media. I can deal with the New York Post making fun of me. Word playing with my name and everything. Just this music, I just can't take it. I can't take it. I got to go back.
So so I think that those 3 guys go there. I think Kyrie goes to Brooklyn. I think D'Angelo Russell goes to Orlando. I think Jimmy Butler stays in Philly. I think Tobias Harris leaves Philly and goes to like Denver or somewhere. Kawhi goes to the Clippers. And
who goes to the Nets, did you say?
Kyrie. If Kemba goes to the Knicks.
Wow.
If Kyrie goes to the Knicks, I think Kemba ends up either staying for $250 or I think there's an outside Laker chance with him.
The Nets would let Russell go to get Kyrie. That's the only one I'm not positive.
Well, because if Kyrie says I want to sign with the Nets, would you rather have Kyrie or Russell?
I don't know anymore.
I'll tell you, I'd rather have Russell, but I'm in the minority because Kyrie ruined my season.
Really? All right.
All
right.
Yeah. So
I defended Kyrie to the end. All the stats that said the Celtics were better with that. I was hoping. I was like, you know what? Maybe the Bucks are just way, way better than everybody, and the Celtics were the second best team in the East. But it's not looking like that.
Well, I mean, Sal, you've worked in an office for many years, actually. Jimmy Kimmel Live.
That's right.
If you put somebody in the office who's really moody and up and down, eventually it affects somebody else in the office, right? You've never had that experience because nobody was ever moody at Jimmy Kimmel Live. But
I can't even imagine what you're talking about.
If there was somebody at Jimmy Kimmel Live who was super moody and up and down, it would affect people, right?
Let me think about it. Let me ask some people who
you might have missed
be clued in on this better.
By the way, our cousin re-signed for 3 more years.
Isn't that something?
Unbelievable.
Remember, he got annoyed. He got annoyed when we put him up against Brady of who's going to last longer. And he's like, "Oh, great! I'm glad you talked about that. You probably freaked out the whole staff." We're like, "No, you're going to stay. We have a feeling you're going to stay."
Yeah, he did get annoyed, and now he's going to get annoyed about this somehow. And I can't figure out how yet.
True.
But
No, he's staying. It's great. It's good news.
He's staying because a lot of people said when you left the show, that was going to be it. It was going to fall apart. But now there's some Ewing theory with you going. Now it's a Ewing theory eligible show because the show has technically never won Best Late Night Show Emmy. So there's some Ewing theory possibilities.
Oh, I'm honored. Yeah, let them. Unlike KD, I will actually be rooting for it to happen. Yeah.
What happens if KD goes to the Knicks? Because you're like, as Jacoby would say, you're a die easy Knicks fan. You're more of a you're more of a fan of basketball gambling.
Yeah, right. For sure.
But if all those guys were on the Knicks, would you would that unleash some sort of Knicks fandom that is buried deep inside you? What happens?
I guess so. I don't love this owner too much. Don't you? You find that a lot, right? With people, don't you see that? Like people will not go to church anymore because they don't like the archdiocese, everyone who's running it. I kind of feel like the same way now with the Knicks. So I would like this owner to get out before I started rooting for them. But I don't know. Like, does Concepcion have a problem with it really taints it a lot, doesn't it?
No, Concepcion is. I mean, I have some Knicks fans in my life, and he's probably one of the highest ones up there. They're just with the team for life.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I was going to do another spoiler and I fought it off again. I'm so proud of myself. We did the lottery show that night with me and Rosillo and Concepcion was there, and they got the third pick. And then we brought Jason in, and I didn't realize it was kind of a mistake. We brought him in, and his eyes were like full of tears. It was like me after the Celtics didn't get Durant or Oden in 2007. And the J-Bug and I just went to this dive bar in Boston and fucking got drunk and smoked cigarettes. He was just really devastated. I have some Knicks fans in my life who are so rock bottom with the team that they had a 14% chance of winning the lottery, and they were devastated when it didn't come through. I mean, you have better odds of playing Russian roulette and getting hit by a bullet than winning the lottery at 14%.
Do you know there were so many, I don't know if it was Knicks fans or just conspiracy theory, people backing the conspiracy theory that the Knicks are going to get the number one pick, that went down to 2-1 odds on some sports books.
What?
2-1 odds that a 14% chance team is going to get Zion. And you can only double your money.
Well,
that's astounding.
House was all proud. He's on a nice little streak right now, gambling wise, and it started with you talking him into Knicks top 4.
Easy, couldn't be easy.
And I was like, and he's like bragging about it after. I'm like, House, you might as well bet on like a fucking coin flip, like that. You've just bet on 50% odds. Congratulations! I don't know what kind of wisdom you had with that.
How weird was that those 4 spots were going away? Like, the Lakers are moving up now, and Memphis, like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? Like, did you? I mean, I watched you and Ryan go over this, but did you catch right away the impact of this? That all these teams are going to drop out, Phoenix and Cleveland. Like, it wasn't going to be fair.
No, you can actually see in that video we did after the Lakers move up, and we react, and my brain almost breaks on live streaming television. But then somebody else moved up, and two teams were 2 spots ahead of where they should have been, and it was happening too fast, and it was really confusing. And I don't think I talked at one point for like 20 seconds in that thing because I couldn't figure out what was going on. It was like Mark Tatum almost needed to stop and go, whoa, hold on, some weird shit just happened. Let's go over what just happened. 2 teams, but he didn't, and it was just complete chaos. It's funny.
I couldn't, between that and Ewing not sweating, I was like, I may have to turn this off. I can't, none of this looks right to me. I'll read about it tomorrow.
Hey, Ewing
didn't sweat at all.
Ewing kind of had a look in he had a kind of a vibe of, I wasn't going to do this, but then they offered me $100,000 and I don't know. I made some bad investments.
I'm at an autograph show, and how long do I have to be here? 15 minutes or 20?
He was at the collectors convention in Cleveland. He's like, now for 1 and 2, it's Patrick Ewing. He's going to be shepherding the Knicks in the lottery. He just did not seem happy at all. For me, it's like I just feel like Spike Lee should have been the guy in the seat.
Oh,
or like Desus and Mero, or people that really would have lived and died with how the ping pong balls went versus somebody like Ewing, you know?
I love the celebrity super fan angle because you got even a Kyle Kuzma there. He could be off the team easily, you know? They try to get him off anyway in the beginning. So
yeah, I think we've talked about this before, but if it was all celebrity fans, I think that would be fantastic. Because like at the Lakers, Kyle Kuzma might get traded in a month. Like the pick's going up to number 4, and he's calculating his head like, oh shit, I'm going to be in New Orleans next year.
Right.
This is it for me. I'm done. They're going to flip this pick.
Yeah, it's like having Josh Rosen come out and announce the Arizona Cardinals are taking with their first pick.
How'd you do with the NFL draft? Did you win or lose?
We won money. You won money. We had because you went let's see. The running backs went late. We went under 3.5 quarterbacks. I can't remember, but it was so far away. But yeah, we won money.
Did you bet on the Giants becoming the biggest laughingstock out of the 4-team sports?
It's unbelievable. It really is something.
Who's happier about this, you or me? I think you hate the Giants slightly more than I do, but it's
I can't
close.
stand them. Yeah, and this is the first year the Cowboys aren't playing them on Sunday night and forever, so of course it makes sense. But yeah, I mean it is. They became the Jets, and the Jets became and the Lakers became the Clippers. It really happened to the two biggest fan bases, right?
Well, it was funny. People were like the Jets, and now the Jets are in control, and then the Jets just had a complete shit show of a week and fired their GM, and then these stories come out about. Did you read the Adam Gase stories?
I'm not sure. Which ones?
Just about after the GM got fired, about Gase and the GM didn't get along, and there was this weird passive-aggressive thing going on. But I think the Daily News had this story about how Gase...
Oh, yeah. I heard Gase... your boy Francesa was talking about it. Yeah.
Gase was in the war room sitting next to somebody, but he was on camera, and he moved his chair so he wasn't on camera for the picks because he wasn't involved in the draft, and they were like, it's really weird. He's not weighing in on anything. Sounded phenomenal. Congrats to the Jets fans. You did it again. The Warriors are minus 225 to win the title, Sal. Bucks are 2-1. Raps are 13-1. And the Blazers are a tasty 150-1.
Wow. All right. Forget the Blazers.
Cross them off, right? Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I think Dame Lillard, now he's hurt. Are they going to say he's been hurt for 3 weeks? Because since he made that shot and was staring, I think he's still staring at the camera because his numbers have been bad, but I don't feel like he's getting enough heat for it.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was pretty up and down, and more down than up in the Denver series, and then was not good in this Warriors series either. He did get hurt. I mean, that was legitimately somebody fell on him, and you could see him get hurt in the moment.
Right.
But at the same time, the Warriors went into the series determined to just rough him up, bang him up, make him work, chip him on every screen, and wearing him down. It's funny. Way back,
they're playing like East Coast basketball a little bit.
Yeah, way back when, I think when he was Steve Kerr used to come on the BS report when I was on ESPN, and he always used to talk about how teams built around smaller players made him nervous because the playoffs were so physical, and as it went on, and you're playing an 8-month season, that those guys tended to wear down. And the reason I remember that is because when the Celtics traded for Kyrie, I remember that being in the back of my head, like, oh man, the freaking Steve Kerr theory that he said a million years ago is playing in my head. And we saw it with Lillard. We see it with Chris Paul. We see it. I guess Iverson doesn't 100% count because he was superhuman. But for the most part, 6'1" and under, it's pretty tough.
It's a lot.
4 straight rounds is brutal.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Let's take.
I like. We'll have to look into it. We'll have to look in. Yeah. You, House and I really try to convince you of a few things. We like Koepka.
Yeah.
We like. Are we going to talk golf?
Yeah.
For
Let's
a minute?
do that.
Koepka almost ruined golf today or this weekend.
Let's take a break and then we're going to talk about that. All right. We got to do PGA title and we got to do Money in the Bank. I went on House's podcast today, Fairway Rolling, right afterwards. He did a quickie pod right after. And I was saying, we were talking about Koepka, whether this is, how significant is this, right? These majors, this many in a row in this short of a time span, does feel really, really unique and potentially special. And at the same time, I feel like we've been here with a bunch of different golfers over the last 12 years. These guys who have this 18 to 20 month run where they're kicking ass and everybody's like, this guy's the next guy. Here it is. I can't decide whether this feels different or not. What does feel different is the majors. But we have seen these guys rip off these 20-month runs and then something happens. They hurt their back. they blow a tournament, they lose their confidence, all this.
McIlroy, Spieth, all the younger guys.
Yeah. Justin Rose, Jason Day.
Mm-hmm.
This one,
I think it's different. Here's why I think it's different.
Let's hear it.
And I don't have a ton of golf knowledge like House, but just his presence, this Brooks Koepka's presence. He's like Brock Lesnar. He's like Ivan Drago. I really felt like he was going to play the weekend without a shirt in Bethpage. Like, he just doesn't care about anything. He just goes up there and does his thing. Obviously, came back down to earth a little bit today and yesterday, but in general, like you can't phase the guy. There's a video now, a viral video of his girlfriend. I think he was approaching the first hole, just like a long walkway, and she goes to kiss him, and he's just like kind of like fends her away. You know, like, the cameras are in his face. It's like he's kind of like no nonsense. I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, he's already like, I think they said he's like 4-1 for the U.S. Open, which is insane for that. That's Tiger Woods numbers, 2002. So I
texted House yesterday in the early part of the third day and asked if I could tweet something because I didn't know how golf Twitter would react. Golf Twitter is like hockey Twitter and soccer Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they get all bent out of shape when they feel like a casual. Now, I don't even feel like we're casual golf fans because you and I, but there's this whole other level. I don't want to fuck with it. I decided not to. But I was thinking about Koepka, how not since mid-2000s Tiger do I remember somebody who, when they had a lead like that in a tournament, carried themselves the way he carried himself, which is goes to what you were saying. Like, the swagger kind of fuck you edge that he has really stands out, and it makes me think, I said this on House's pod today, how we always get our ass kicked in the Ryder Cup. And one of the reasons we always get our ass kicked is that none of the Americans kind of carry themselves this way. And maybe he's the guy. Like, forget about all the majors. Maybe he's the guy that can flip the Ryder Cup for us.
Right. Well, you know what? You made a joke, or maybe it wasn't a joke. You're like, oh, we should have bet against Varner today. That was the final pairing, right?
Yeah.
Was it Koepka and Varner?
Yeah, that's tough.
And what was he, plus 11 tonight or something? Like, I think he's intimidating even his pairings,
Yeah, that's what I was mad that they put him with Tiger on Friday because we want Tiger to make the cut. Right. And he's Tiger wasn't playing that great anyway. And then they put him with Koepka, who's, an assassin. And I thought Koepka really relished kind of going head to head with him. But maybe this is the hero we need, Sal, for the American golf hero to replace Tiger. But the difference is Tiger was never that great in the Ryder Cup. So maybe this guy could be our dude that takes us to Europe.
I like it. There's a couple things I don't like about it. House and I discussed it. He says he's done eating steak in America.
Koepka said that? Like. Yeah, he's weird, right? He's definitely quirky.
Koepka said that. Yeah. But he played rugby. He what happened? He got in a bad car accident, so took up golf because he was doing more violent sports. But his parents like, nah, just take up golf now. So, he's different. He's a different beast altogether.
Has Jimmy had him on the show yet?
No.
Yeah,
it's got three.
I won't really know what to
years.
think until Jimmy weighs in. Because there will be some sort of alpha dog battle going on with the handshake and the whole thing. And it'll be good.
That would make it all worth it. What would our agent, now manager, James Baby Doll Dixon, do if Koepka was on the show?
Our manager. We've been calling him our agent our whole lives, but now he's our manager.
Yes, he's our manager. Let's get this right.
Yeah, it's weird. Our manager, James Baby Doll Dixon, I'm not sure. Koepka, he just hasn't really bought in. He's so in love with Tiger.
Oh, I know it. Yeah.
But
these guys that love Tiger.
This weekend, though, like, he kind of ruined the weekend. I was really excited for a topsy-turvy Bethpage Black. Guys in the lead. Then they get a 7 on a par 4 because their ball got caught in the deep rough. And just one of those crazy weekends. And then like 2 guys emerging. And instead, Koepka goes 63-65 to start.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's the last thing we want. Like, golf's kind of taking a turn a little bit now.
Yeah.
Tiger, obviously, that's great. Then Tiger takes a month off. And by the way, I love Tiger to not make the cut at plus 375. But betting against that's betting the no pass line in craps.
I know.
All your friends get mad at you.
I got mad at you. I was so mad when you brought that up. You're like, let's go against Tiger. Let's bet what did you say? Let's bet Tiger not to win another major in 2018. I'm like, no, I don't want him. I want him to win.
I know, but the numbers are so slanted. It's crazy.
It is.
It's Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather. These numbers shouldn't be. It should be a gigantic difference in the odds there. But
no, you were right. It's just It's like how
you just looked at him after Thursday. He was +2 or something. What was he? +1 or +2? The other +1s like Matsuyama, all these bigger names, they're like 45, 50 to 1. Tiger was still like 16, 18 to 1 to win. It's like, it's crazy to do it like this.
It's like when the Red Sox, before we won the World Series in 2004, every year the World Series odds were way lower than they should have been because all these idiots were betting on the Red Sox.
Right.
They wanted the ticket. You're right. Tiger, this is why you're a whole level above me as a gambler, because you ultimately will go for whatever the best bet is.
Yeah.
And you will bet the buzzer beater bet in March Madness. Right. You'll bet against Tiger, the biggest golf hero we have. You don't care. If the odds are in your favor, you'll go. You're ready.
No double overtime. Oh, wait.
You just bet against fun.
No, but my point was, all right, it's great. Everyone loves Tiger. He's bringing golf's back on the map in the biggest way possible. And then Koepka comes along, and he could make the sport boring again. It's like, oh, man, don't do this where you beat everyone by 9 strokes.
Yeah.
That's how I was looking after Friday. Like, people stop watching.
I still have faith that I think it's really hard to do this for more than 2 years to have the bullseye on your back, all that stuff. We'll see if he can do it. House was saying how the thing that makes him different is that Koepka is all about majors and winning majors and taking down majors and doesn't really care about the other stuff. Could care less about the FedEx Cup and all that shit. He just wants to rack up the majors. So maybe he'll be different. I thought Spieth was different. You know, Spieth didn't have the success Koepka's had, but
I did too.
I really thought Spieth was like, wow, this guy is like the perfect golfer. He doesn't even have a heartbeat. He's just a cyborg. But it's
gonna be fun to watch. And we haven't even mentioned Dustin Johnson, who I think has 4 second place finishes in a row in majors.
The king of runner ups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird. I root for him, but there's something sad about him, and I can't put I know he's had some personal issues that he got through, but there's a sadness to him that you kind of want to like give him a hug. Do you feel that when you watch him?
Who are we talking about now? Dustin Johnson?
Yeah, DJ.
Oh yeah, I do. And then I hear him speak, and it's like, I don't know. Someone just throw a banjo in his hand already. What are we doing?
My son was doing imitations of Seth Rollins today. It's my new favorite thing that he does. Because Seth Rollins has a little tiny lisp, which my son was like,
oh no.
So he does. I can't do it. I'm gonna have to bring him in to do it. He does this dead on Seth Rollins impersonation.
Okay,
it's pretty good. My son is now on the trampoline 2 hours a day. It was the greatest thing we ever did.
What?
Yeah, we bought this trampoline, and he's now got like a 14-pack again. And his new thing is he's trying to recreate all the dunks from the different dunk contests on the trampoline because there's a little basket on it. And he's definitely going to go flying off this thing and into the driveway. So mark that one down.
All right, I'll mark it down.
The wrestling, the Money in the Bank, big return for Brock Lesnar today.
I saw that. I still can't figure out what they're doing with him with MMA and or UFC and WWE. But yeah, it seems like he's back, right?
Yeah, I mean, the WWE is in an interesting point right now where they, their stock was up to almost 100 and they had a monopoly basically in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
And then the last 3-4 months, it flipped in a lot of different ways. Like the ratings were kind of the worst and most dangerous they've been in a long time. They flipped the SmackDown Raw thing where it was like SmackDown's got one roster, Raw's the next. We have a draft. We'll switch some guys. Then all of a sudden they're like, fuck it. Everybody can go on everybody's show. They lost some stars. And then there's this new rival that's launched in AEW that has a lot of wrestlers like that. The diehard wrestling, the psychos like Kenny Omega and all these people.
Right.
And they signed a deal with TNT and I don't know. This
is their Kevin Durant being out, right? It kind of lit a fire. The rival wrestling league and everything. Yeah, I agree. And plus, they're going to Fox in October, right?
Yeah,
I should know that.
Wrestling does this. It ebbs and flows, and usually it ebbs and flows based on how many stars they have at a given time. Because usually they need like 5 to 7 really like diehard awesome dudes that you want. And right now it's in a little down cycle. There's been injuries. Some guys got old. Cena's gone, all this stuff.
I think you throw Shane McMahon in there, any card, and it's a must watch. I mean,
no, he's our age.
He's our age. I was going to say he's exactly our age, and he's flying, corner to corner in the ring and off cages and everything else. And it's spectacular.
I think wrestling the WWE will circle back because it always does. But I think that's why they did the Lesnar thing today. It felt a little desperate to me. It was like we kind of need to do something dramatic to get people talking on Monday after this pay-per-view. So they did that.
Well, I think it's going to seem even more. I think they're going to integrate Hogan into it more and more and more. We saw him at WrestleMania just come out and yell for a couple of minutes, but you haven't seen desperate yet.
Well, the problem with somebody like Hogan is I just don't think he can do any moves anymore, right? Like him, Flair, none of those guys can actually do anything.
They'll figure it out.
Did you see Fighting with Your Family? Fighting with My Family? What'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it enough. But I saw with the boys who really liked it. Did you not enjoy it?
I liked it. My son absolutely beyond belief loved it.
Yeah.
Seen it multiple times already. He's all in on it.
Multiple times in the theater, multiple times.
Twice in the theater, and then we bought it on the Tuesday it came out, and he's watched it a couple times. The weirdest thing about Fighting with My Family is Queen Cersei is the mom, and she's got dark hair and just doesn't look like a queen. I'll tell you that much.
No, she isn't. She's like a white trash queen.
She's like white trash tattooed wrestling queen. Right. But I got to do, we're going to do Thrones in a second. I want to do Parent Corner really quick though.
Okay. All right. I got a couple things. I have a couple of quick things. First of all, my littlest son, because we don't spend time with him, just watches on his iPad Another Family. I think I brought this up before.
I don't remember this.
Yeah. He just watches like Another Family, and there's this fun, goofy father. There's a couple of them, and it gets like 20 million hits each one. But anyway, he's watching kids. He's watching on his iPad, kids on their iPad in a Tesla. So now all he's talking about is that he wants a Tesla. So I may have to get my 5-year-old son a Tesla. It's driving me crazy. I can't get him. We might have his birthday party, might rent a couple of Teslas and just have these kids sit in the back and play on their iPads because apparently it's good. All right, that's story one. Number two, the middle kid.
Hold on with story one. Yeah. That's kind of where we're heading with birthday parties, right? Where it's a birthday party and every kid gets an iPad for 2 hours and nobody interacts with each other.
Oh yeah,
it's just 20 kids
they
on
have
iPads.
You've seen the game trucks, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you've had So yeah, it would be the same thing, just a little more direct. Yeah. I need advice on this. I have my 10-year-old. We made him play the viola. He's practiced. He has practiced probably 3 or 4 times. And when I say practice, like 6 or 7 minutes each time. Yeah. And he has a concert tomorrow.
Oh, no.
And I have to blow off this the red carpet event I was asked to go to. Our friend Jeff Ross, which, by the way, you should come to this. The historical roast thing.
Yeah. That's tomorrow?
You should come. We'll talk about it. Yeah. But I have to go to this concert. I have to go to this viola concert. So as a parent, what's your obligation to a kid who doesn't practice at all? You have to go and you have to say it was great, right? I know. I'm an asshole. I know, but he shouldn't be playing the viola the whole time. All right. The last one is a more serious thing. We have kids the same age, 8th graders, right? Going into 9th. Yeah. Vaping is a big thing now, right?
Yes.
In all the schools. So much so that the kids do it. They're addicted, so they can't even wait till after school. They do it in the bathroom during school. My son's middle school has now put a teacher or some kind of aide in front of each bathroom, and you have to sign in to go to the bathroom. So now they can kind of see who's vaping, but what they also could do is they could see who's shitting. So my son is like, I don't like to go anyway in the school, but now I can't go to the bathroom. I can't go number 2 in the bathroom because now the aide knows who it is. And I said, listen, I'd rather you vape than be known as the kid that's shitting during school, right?
Yeah, that was
So there's
Kyle.
more good
That was
parenting.
nephew Kyle back then.
Was that you, Kyle?
Yeah,
You did
that's
that
Kyle.
too?
Dude, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
That's
So lunch like 8 hours, 6
Kyle.
hours you spend at school.
It's Kyle every time he comes to my house.
Top floor, never on the main floor.
Yeah, he goes, disappears, goes upstairs. We don't know what happened.
Are you vaping, Kyle, or do you have diarrhea?
Probably both.
All right, so I'm done. There was no big thing there. I hit all 3 kids.
I think it's important to point out this whole juuling epidemic. It's pretty it's pretty crazy. It actually seems weirdly more addictive than cigarettes. Because you can kind of just do it all the time. You just, it's not, at least with cigarettes, there's a thing where you have to go, I am going to have a cigarette, and then you go have a cigarette. Juuling, you can just, it's like looking at your phone. You could do it nonstop.
It's too easy. Yeah. And we will be able to smoke our phones soon enough.
Oh, no question.
Yeah. What's your thing?
I have 2 with my son. One, which I did the other day on the podcast, but you didn't hear it, so I'm going to do it again. You know how my son is a liar, but not good at lying yet?
Yes.
But will be a good liar at some point, but isn't there yet. But he wants to be. So a couple of days ago, he called my wife. He's like, Mom, can you come up here for a second? She's like, okay. So she starts to go up the stairs. He's standing at the top of the stairs and drops his phone and then goes, oh no, and picks it up. He's like, oh no, the screen. And was such a bad actor that she knew immediately that he had broken his phone way earlier, but now is pretending he dropped it. And then she broke him down, and within 4 seconds, he broke and admitted that he broke it while playing video games. So he needs some work. But the thought was there. I think 3-4 years from now, he's going to be an incredible liar.
Oh, that's good. We should send him to boot camp with our friend Brad, who's not necessarily known for his lying, but he's hit the mean streets for many, many years. Yeah.
So last week, my son's class goes to Boston. This is the school my son and daughter go to. Every year, the 5th grade class goes to Boston. So comes back, and he's kind of like that, not telling us that much, and he's a little surly, and we think it's because he hasn't slept that much or whatever. Then the next day, there's a birthday party at Dave & Buster's, because that's one of the new things now, is that people like to have their birthday parties at Dave & Buster's. It's just a free-for-all with video games. And one of the other moms, this kid Jackson, his mom goes up to Ben, and my wife's there and a couple other moms. They're like, Ben, big news, huh? And Ben instantly turns bright red, and his jaw starts going 40 directions. Turns out Ben has gotten back together with his beloved girlfriend.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
after 8 months. They dated like 9 months last year. Then he broke up with her at the start of the year, peer pressure. And then had a dream, apparently, the night before the Boston trip that they got back together. Texted her, asked if they could get back together. She took him back because, when you're in love, you're in love. And now they're back.
Right.
So there you go.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
So now wait, how did you learn about all this? He texted her and he had a dream. Did he tell you? Or?
No, my wife basically was like, we're not driving home until you tell me the story, and just beat it out of him. But the big winner in this is my wife, because they used to have these double dates with the 2 moms, and then Ben and his girlfriend, they would go out. But my wife really liked the other mom. So now they're back. So everything's looking up roses. My son, the only guy who can lock himself down at age 11.
That's great.
It's really good.
Wow.
There's no play in the field. The only person who played it worse, I think, was our cousin Jimmy. who just dated 3 people his whole life.
Yeah. And now he kisses A-list celebrities on the mouth as they come out. Wow, Ben. Yeah, good for Ben. You know what? You may want to sponge off that trampoline just to be safe. Who knows what that kid's up to?
All right, we're going to take one more break, then we're doing Throne Game. All right, so if you haven't watched Game of Thrones yet, turn the pod off. This is the last thing we're talking about. Then Sal's leaving. We are going to do Game of Thrones, and then we are done. Sal, plug whatever you want to plug now so people can hear it.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Monday through Friday, 11:35, and lock it in. What is that? 4:30 to 5:30 Eastern on the East Coast and on FS1. And I'll be doing Against All Odds this week. We'll go over NBA finals, NHL finals, and all sorts of other good stuff.
And we should mention, speaking of Against All Odds, the whole crew is coming to Southern California in mid-July, and we're going to Callaway and they're all getting fitted for golf clubs, and we're going to shoot a video. Now, one of those people, Harry, was with his boss and friend Ken, your friend, and there was a picture of them at the PGA today, and you sent it to us with the caption "Reservoir Hogs" because they were walking ahead of each other.
They were in step walking. Yeah, it's well, maybe I'll post it. They're big. They're big.
That
kids.
was one of the funnier texts I've gotten in 2019. I was dying.
Harry was screaming at Ricky Fowler, "Come on, Ricky, stay in the top 20. I have you for 500." And like Ricky Fowler's like, "Look, like who is this? Why did they let anyone on?"
Yeah,
there?
the announcers were saying how some of the fans were a little unruly, shall we say? And I'm thinking like, I think Harry's there. It was definitely.
Yeah, he took a nap in the rough with no shoes. It was a mess.
They couldn't find him
with these guys.
So anyway, Jeff Chow was asking me, do you think we could get a video out of the degenerate trifecta doing Callaway Golf Club fitting? I was like, a video? I think we can get like
get a reality show.
We can get a docu-series. Harry hitting irons and clubs. Like, who's not watching that?
Right.
Anyway,
we look forward to that. It's gonna be
all
fun.
right. Throne game. Let's go. Let's just go gut reaction to the last episode. You get
gut reaction is I was pretty sure it was going to be bad, and it was. And there was just one result that I didn't want. We're spoiling it, right?
We're spoiling. It's all spoilers from this point on.
So some of the online sports books had Bran sitting on the throne it went up to minus 500. And I was like, I really hope this is HBO and Game of Thrones, like putting $10,000 on it, spreading it around. So to throw everyone off the scent, because I did not want that guy. He's done nothing all year. He was used as bait in the first big battle scene. And sure enough, he's on the throne. Now, I don't know if they pay that out because there actually was no Iron Throne thanks to that pissed off dragon who torched it. But you didn't want him winning, did you?
The king of comedy? Now he's just the king. No, I did not. I actually was hoping Sansa would get it.
Oh, interesting.
But, let's go through the episode. I was disappointed as well. I on the scale of 1 to The Sopranos suddenly ending, it would probably be in the middle for me for how upset I was. I wasn't that upset. You were, after The Sopranos, you were the most upset, sports or non-sports, I've ever seen you or heard you. You were out of your mind.
I was really mad. I was considering not unfriending people who like the ending. And it seems like now everybody likes the ending. It bummed me out. But one thing it has done, my expectations are so low for endings for shows like this. For one thing, and I know you'll do your thing in a second, but in Game of Thrones defense, I think it's very difficult for shows like this with multiple like dozens of characters to tie up all the loose ends. Like, you're going to be disappointed, even in an episode you liked. I liked the last one. I liked when,
me too.
When Dany broke bad. Like, all right, maybe it happened too quickly, too abruptly, but I kind of liked it. She was badass. It was fun. But even that said, you can find 15 things wrong with it. But I think that's how it was with Lost too, right? Even the great episodes, it's like, oh, come on, that couldn't happen even in a, whatever. So, all right, tell me what do you want to start with this?
I'm just going to go through the episode and chime in when necessary. I'm going to play some throne game. So starts out Tyrion magically is able to find where his sister and brother are buried under all these rocks. Mm-hmm. Not even buried under a lot of rocks. It's like you can lift one brick up and, there's Cersei. And I kind of felt like they could have gotten out of that. Felt like they should have been under three layers of rocks before, he should have been digging for 7 hours, but moves one brick, whatever.
Yeah, maybe see a foot or something and then start to go, well, I guess he can't lift a lot. So that would have taken the whole hour maybe, but all right.
And then very upset about Jaime, not as upset about Cersei. Obviously, I would have liked to have had her do the wake up for a split second and then die moment, like the scary thing, but that didn't happen. So they're done, and if you notice, they're both dead with him lying on her, kind of like they're almost like dead cuddling.
Right. Yeah. Dead spooning. It's a big thing.
Yeah. So starts out with the show. First episode ends with a doggy style sex scene that ends with him pushing Bran off the tower, and ends with them cuddling in a pile of rocks. So there you go.
Right.
Danny gave a big speech. She talked a lot in that weird language, which do you think they actually write that language out, or do you think she just ad-libs words and then they just put subtitles underneath it?
I think at this point they do have to write it out because the maniacs, mostly in the ringer, would freak out if something didn't make sense.
You can study that language.
You can. Kyle said
it's out there.
Kyle studies that language when he's taking a dump on the second floor of my house.
I saw it in the office when I was
How can anyone even hear what she's saying? They're banging their sticks against the ground. Like we're supposed to believe they know every time she's going to stop and every time she's going to resume her speech.
She should throw in like an occasional English word just to make all the Thrones maniacs mad. Like,
right.
Sony PlayStation, you got me on.
A Baba Booey once in a while couldn't hurt.
Howard Stern. So anyway, she decided Tyrion was treasonous. And then Tyrion goes, Jon Snow and Tyrion, they get together. And Tyrion's basically like, you got to do this. You got to just kill this lady. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing here? Mm-hmm. And some really good quotes. Everywhere she goes, evil men die and she becomes more powerful for it. Like that one. Mm-hmm. Love is more powerful than reason. Love is the death of duty. Sometimes duty is the death of love. Mm-hmm. These are things you and I have never said to each other as we talked about our marriages.
Not yet.
It's more like
not on a podcast.
Yeah, it's more like my wife's really mad. I have to go away again this week. Stuff like that.
Right.
So John then goes to see Danny to kind of,
that was a necessary scene. It was a good scene because you figure, he's being a pussy. All right, cut to the next.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they were like, all right, this is Tyrion's Emmy clip. He's gonna get killed in the next scene. Jon Snow's gonna pussy out like he always does. Mm-hmm. Danny's going to fall off a dragon, and then Sansa's going to take over, or maybe Arya kills her, or whatever. Jon goes to see Danny. Danny's ogling the throne, really excited about it, checking it out, all these swords, she's bragging. I've heard stories about all the swords that killed that guy. Then they had this whole conversation about the future and what's good. And Jon Snow's like, well, how do I know what's good? And she's like, you're just going to have to trust me. It's all going to be better. He's like, well, how do I know? And they do this kind of dance. And then they break up. They broke up because he plunged a knife into her heart and killed her.
Yeah. That's a rough breakup.
Yeah. I'd like to think they were dating till the tail end.
People get mad if you break up with them over text. That would have been preferred, right?
Yeah,
Danny's case?
Now maybe a text or he ghosts her, but in this case, a knife to the heart. Mm-hmm. And then the dragon comes in, and that was my favorite part of the whole show. When the dragon comes in,
pretty fierce. Yeah, that looked good.
Dragon cries. He does this whole stands on his back legs, lifts his dragon wings out, does like the Sly Stallone. And then it seems like he's going to just blow fire on Jon Snow. Decides not to. And
why did it decide not to? What do we figure? There's some theories on that.
They're related, right?
He's a Targaryen.
Yeah, he can't kill him.
Okay. He can't do it. Okay. All right.
That's fine. Or he just kind of liked him.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he potentially may have got confused with the dragons, but he may have ridden on him, right?
So, yeah, that's true. I think he rode Stan, though. I don't think he rode that one. That was Bob. He rode Stan. Okay. So then the dragon just blows fire right next to Jon Snow. Like, basically, here's how bad my breath smells. You get a whiff of this. It's going to be really hot breath right in your vicinity, and you're going to remember that smell for the rest of your life. Then flies off. Never see the dragon again, apparently. Takes Danny.
Crushes the throne. Obliterates
the throne. Then all of a sudden, we're at like a Thrones Council. Did you know that was what I didn't know? And then we moved ahead. Now everybody knows Jon Snow killed her. Like a whole bunch of scenes were skipped. Tyrion is in handcuffs still, but now everybody knows Jon Snow and he's got to be whatever too. But then there's a council. I don't really remember how we ended up with a council. Brienne Tarth's on it.
Yeah. So this scene, this can't be even the greatest Thrones apologists. I can't imagine more than 10% of people are okay with how this ends up. But yeah, keep going.
They're all in it. It's like 12. It's like the high table in John Wick, basically. Mm-hmm. And there's some randos in the 12. I didn't really understand how we ended up with a couple of them. Like Sam, that's the guy's name, right? Sam?
Sam, yeah.
Yeah, Sam was in there. Pretty sure he shouldn't be on the like lead council to decide.
He shouldn't even be alive. The way that battle scene, that was insane.
Bizarre. I would have tried to mix that. Like I would have had Tormund, the Viking guy with the beard.
No, that's
would have had him on there. And I don't know. I would have mixed it up a little bit more. Yeah. So they have this council, and then they all realize like they need a new king or a queen. And there's no policy in place. And one guy stands up and starts to plead his case. They tell him to shut the fuck up. And they just kind of don't know what to do. And Grey Worm's like, let's just kill Tyrion, then we'll figure it out later. Then Tyrion's like, hey, I have some ideas on what we should do for the next king. And everybody shuts up and listens for the next 5 minutes as he lays out the whole case for actually it should be Bran, because Bran remembers everything that's happened in the past, and the stories are what should make a great king. And that's why we should take this guy who can't walk and who creeps everybody out and is the least funny character in the history of television. And let's put Westeros in his hands. Let's do this.
And by the way, are we supposed to believe that all these different entities know the story of Bran? I got the impression that everyone was just hearing it for the first time, aside from Sansa and Fat Sam and everybody and those people. I think it's like, hey, listen, look at the guy. You know, he remembers everything. He has magic powers. He hasn't demonstrated them for any of you in the last few minutes, but trust me. And you know what? Even if you don't believe he has magic powers, he was pushed out a window. He's a cripple. Let's just make him king. Yeah. Come on, what do you say? And to a man, they're all on board except for his sister, who actually knows the story. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, all right, you could do that, but we're going to separate. The North is the North.
Yeah.
You be by yourself.
Everyone votes yes, and she's like, hold up.
Yeah.
Basically, she negotiates, I'll take the North, make me queen of the North, and I won't make a big fuss here. And I want your 2021 first round pick. And you got to throw in Frank Nidolinka. And that's it. And then we're good to go. So
this is the Daniel Jones of all drafts right here. Yeah.
Everybody's good right away with this. All right. So the creepy cripple, he's going to be the new king. And then Sansa's going to get the North. And then they're like, what about Jon Snow? And it's like, well, he'll just be with Grey Worm's bad now. He's like, really? Really? We're doing this? So basically, I give up my life. I lose my girlfriend. This guy stabs my queen in the heart. We lose all the dragons. All of my Dothraki dudes are dead. Or no, he's not Dothraki, right? What is he?
No, he
Grey Worm's Dothraki, right?
No, Unsullied.
Oh, he's Unsullied, yeah. He's like
the Unsullied, which by the way, you don't know if there's 18 Unsullied left or 200,000.
Right. Yeah. So he's just bitter. And then on top of everything, like Jon Snow gets to live. Bran the Unbroken. No, Bran the Broken.
Bran the Broken.
Tyrion, who's about to get the electric chair, then saves his life with the 5-minute soliloquy, becomes the hand to the king, names him Bran the Broken, and then everything's fine. And now he's not a traitor and didn't commit treason.
And the only one that everybody really likes, Jon Snow, is he's exiled to the winter area to the north with all these terrible people, and everyone's okay with it. Even though there's only one person who doesn't like Jon Snow at this point. It's Grey Worm.
It's Grey Worm, and
he's out.
So it's like everybody likes Jon Snow on one side, Grey Worm's on the other side. Jon Snow is basically on the Knicks with KD and Kemba, and then gets traded to the T-Wolves, and now has to live in Minnesota outdoors, and play and hang out with Tormund, and hopefully every once in a while get a Wilding thing. Well,
that looked like the start of a Bud Light commercial when he locked eyes with Tormund, right? I was like, oh,
they're back.
There's going to be beers flowing.
I mean, that's instead of a prequel, they could just do the postquel. So
yeah, you're right.
So Sansa keeps the North. I'm trying to think. Oh, I was thinking. I wrote down in my notes. First of all, who was the one who said Bran has no interest in being king and he can't father children? Oh, Sansa.
There was Sansa.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a ringing endorsement of Brad's candidacy.
It's tough.
He doesn't
Yeah.
want to be the king. He can't walk and he can't father children. Can we come up with a better choice? Everybody's like, no, actually, no, this is our choice.
Yeah, forget the Currys. This is the sibling rivalry, or the Hound and the. But yeah, it was incredible, and like that was the last thing I wanted was for Bran to rule. But at least if it was going to happen, make it some magical shit. Don't make it some Tyrion who's really about to have his head cut off, like you said. Anyway, that he wins over all these people who have no idea who Bran is. Come on,
and then
give me a break.
And then Bran, who doesn't really say, he's like that guy who he doesn't really say anything, offer any help, any guidance, any real reason that something should happen. But then after it happens, he's one of those, oh, I told you that was going to happen.
Yeah,
well,
right.
Yeah, well, that was going to happen all along. It's all preordained. It's like, well, if you know everything's preordained, could you just fucking tell us before maybe Danny burns down an entire city? Did you knew that was preordained? Could you have just given us a tip, heads up? It's like he's got Biff's.
Dionne Warwick.
He's got like the Biff. What was the Biff Sports Encyclopedia and Back to the Future too?
Yes,
he basically
Great Sports Almanac.
Yeah, he has that and doesn't share the information with anybody. He's just like, oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, I knew that. I knew he was going to kill Danny. Yeah, those. Oh yeah, and Tyrion. Yeah, I knew this is all going to work out, and you're going to be my hand because that's
right. He knew, even though the Night King was nose to nose with him, that Sansa was going to come in the last minute, and even though she was 100 miles away from the whole thing and save the day, he knew the whole.
So you have this fucking council, and at no point does anybody on the council say, "Hey, Bran, you seem to know everything that happened and is going to happen. What would happen if you became the king? How would that go? Can you just tell us? Can you save the time so we don't have to have the vote? Would you be a king? Can you lay out the next 40 years for us?" No, nobody brings that up.
Right.
So,
yeah, in a way, I'm glad they rushed through it. But yes, you're right. There should have been a little more to it, that everyone is now the first time anyone ever agrees on the one king. This is going to be it.
Right.
No questions asked.
Well, I was saying the irony of this being on the same day as the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. This was basically Bran cashed the suitcase.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
It was looking like Sansa. And then Bran came flying in with the suitcase and was like, ding, ding, ding. Oh, whoa, all right. And then he took the throne, basically. It was a Money in the Bank throne match. So
can a series be ruined by its finale?
I had a couple people email me that the first 6 seasons were MJ, first 6 Bulls titles. And then these last 2 were MJ Wizards. That's not as insulting of an analogy as it seems like, because I actually enjoyed the last 2 MJ Wizards seasons, even though they didn't result in any titles.
Right.
I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this season more than most. I just didn't really like the council thing. I thought it was too fucking crazy.
It ruined it. Like, have some supernatural thing happen with Bran if you're gonna do it. It just too much. We trust you. Little guy, go ahead, go on. Everyone go on with their lives. And then for Sansa to turn her back on it, like what a petty thing that was.
Well, I don't think anything gets hundreds of thousands of soldiers fired up more than the words Bran the Broken. Who's your leader? It's Bran the Broken. Oh, awesome. And then
is he related to Bob the Builder? No, different
Bran
guy.
the Broken.
Bran the Broken.
Poor Grey Worm. He's taking over the Unsullied. And he's like, all right, he's Bran the Broken. I guess I'm Grey Worm, no genitals. Right. So it's how Bran the Broken and Grey Worm, no genitals are feuding.
This is now the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It didn't seem possible, but yes.
So Jon Snow said goodbye to the Starks, but they're not. Are they related anymore, Kyle? I still can't figure out what that happened.
His mom is a Stark.
Okay.
Yeah.
His mother's a Stark.
Did they all have the same mom though?
No.
So they're like, he's like a cousin.
Exactly.
So they thought he was a bastard half brother, but he's actually just their cousin.
Exactly.
All right. So you and I
mean, you want to talk shooting percentage?
Yeah.
Good job by those dragons. Somehow killing off hundreds of thousands of peasants and everyone and anyone in their path, but managed to save 13 of the 15 main characters from that battle scene.
Pinpoint aim.
Episode 5.
So
wow.
Jon Snow said goodbye to all the Starks. Not as emotional as I wanted it to be. I did like the farewell with Arya. And then
she's going west of Westeros, I guess.
Yeah. So she's becoming a pirate, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into that. Right?
That's fine.
If they want to do a post school, Aria the pirate in the 1300s. I guess it would be the 1330s now. That would be good. Sansa's Queen of the North. Bran is Bran the Broken, the king of everything except for the North. Jon Snow is just hanging out in Minnesota with Karl Anthony Towns and Ghost, who has now one ear. We never heard the story of that one either. Why does Ghost have one ear?
Oh, what? The wolf? The wolf?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to the ear?
I don't know.
No explanation. They had to maim
I didn't even
Ghost.
notice it had one ear. It only had one ear?
They had to maim Ghost? Why'd they do that?
I think it cut off its own ear after listening to the tribal council there. It's like, I can't hear this anymore.
They told Ghost, Bran the Broken is now our new king. He's like, I'm cutting my ear off. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
And then the other highlight from the ending was Brienne somehow had a yearbook and she's writing Jaime's story. And kind of, it was like when you're graduating high school and you're writing whatever. She did that.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping for her, but she was pregnant. Would have been fun.
Right.
And maybe they cut that out. But there was about a 10 seconds there where it was like Brianna Starth now carrying a new Lannister. And maybe,
Well, you have to read. You'll have to read the book.
Read that book.
Her and Sammy's book.
Yeah. So then it just kind of ended with Jon Snow as this sad life walking. He's with Tormund and they're going to look for some wilding people.
It was unsatisfying.
Oh, and then all the brothels are gone. Forgot to mention that. We lost all the brothels.
Right. Yeah.
So that was sad. So that
they were making big decisions there.
So that was it, right? That I hit everything.
No, I think that was it. I don't know. Yeah, they were killing villagers in the beginning, captives, and there was that struggle.
I think you should call who got killed on Lock It In this week.
Well, Clay won, and I lost. I came in second.
Oh, it's too bad because you could have called him Clay the Broken. Maybe that's what you should call him as the king.
I think I am going
call him Clay the Broken.
It's as absurd a gesture.
Well, so I give
so disappointing.
I give the first 3 seasons an A+++.
Mm-hmm.
I give the next 3 seasons like a B+, and then I would go B- for these last 2. I still think it's like incredible television. Like last week's episode was out of control.
I loved
fantastic.
I loved it. I loved it. We need to talk about Cobra Kai. I think Cobra Kai's high school fight scene. Everyone knows karate was better than any of the Game of Thrones scenes. But
so you caught up.
terrific.
You saw the whole second season.
We finished that. We watched 4 Saturday and ended it. Yeah.
The last episode was really great.
So good. So
really good.
I don't ever watch anything with my son and wife where we're like, oh my God. Like we really were at the edge of our seats when it, are we allowed to spoil
Yeah,
that?
we might as well. Well, it's been on for 3 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Here, did I tell you what I thought was going to happen?
Yeah, you told me Allie will come. You think she's a doctor?
Yeah, Allie's a doctor. She's going to come back and fix Miguel's back.
You don't know that for sure. You don't know she's a doctor. Did we learn that?
Yeah, she was.
anywhere?
It said she was Dr. Allie somebody.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. At the end on the phone.
I have a show for you that I thought I did not watch until this weekend, and I thought was an incredible binge watch.
I read you were tweeting about it. What's
It's called All American.
Mm-hmm.
It is like the OC crossed with Friday Night Lights crossed with The White Shadow. It was a CW show, so I never watched it. But then it went on Netflix. Tay Diggs is in it. My wife likes Tay Diggs. She's like, can we give this a chance? And it's a football show. And in the first show, the kid's at Crenshaw High, and the coach of Beverly Hills High, played by Tay Diggs, convinces him to switch to Beverly High School because it'll give him a better chance to become an All-American. So he joins this team. It's like the classic outsider comes into the new school with the rich kids and the people who don't like him. And now he's on the football team and he's got to get along, and 2 girls like him, and he's still got the ties to Crenshaw, and there's gang stuff, and it's really good. Yeah.
All right. I'll give it a shot. And everyone watches it? The whole
I
family?
recommend it. The funniest thing about this is there's a football game, and Malibu has a football team in the game. They have a huge Beverly High School is a huge game against Malibu. Malibu, it's the Malibu Dolphins. They had the uniforms and everything. And then there's another game against Culver City. So they're just like listing LA suburbs like they have football teams.
That's
So
fun. Well, good. Luckily, I'm all caught up in TV, so I could add this to the roster.
All right, what's your big bet for this week?
I think we bounce back with the Bucks.
I agree.
I haven't thought about it enough, but the fact that they're favored, they may be a 3-point favorite by Tuesday.
We'll do Bucks money line and Warriors money line.
All right. Done.
Sal, pleasure. Thanks for coming on. Good job by you.
Good job by you, buddy.
All right. Thanks so much to the Cuz. Russillo, I think, is probably coming back next week because we actually did 2 yesterday. So one of those counted for this week. And then next week, we'll have a great, big, awesome finals preview for you. Back this week with 2 more podcasts. Don't forget about the Rewatchables pods as well. And don't forget about Binge Mode. Last Binge Mode Game of Thrones ever on Thursday. The Binge Mode podcast will continue, obviously. But the last Thrones podcast they'll probably ever do. Thursday. Looking forward to it. Until then.